I'm sure we've all come across people who we've loved dearly and they've passed away, and now it's stuck in that spot called the estate. And lo and behold, they didn't have a will. Now, of course, this is a major challenge. If you want to know more about wills and estate planning, keep watching this video. Hi there, it's Mark Harry from McCarthy Group, and today I'm joined by Norman Howell, the CEO of Stratex Advisory. Norman, welcome.
Hi, Mark.
Thanks for joining us. Now, today we're going to talk about something that people don't generally like talking about. It's about death, and in particular, wills and estate planning. Now, of course, when we're brown bread, Norman, no one likes to, we're not there to help sort out our wills, our estate. What's the problem with not being there?
Well, if you don't do something about it, it's a mess, Mark. I've been involved with more than I'd like to think about, where people have not put in place the thinking behind what would happen if they're not here.
So a broad brush of Australians, what percentage of Australians wouldn't have wills right at this point in time?
Around about 60% of Australians do not have appropriate up-to-date wills.
So that means they're taking a massive risk in terms of how their assets get resolved?
Or don't.
Or don't?
Look, Mark, one of the biggest problems is that people don't realise that they've normally got a fair bit of insurance inside their super.
Okay. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And often the super doesn't get into your will unless you make it so. Who knows that?
So that you've got all these loose bits and you get hit by the proverbial bus and then it's left now to your brother, your sister, your mum, your dad, your children to sort all this stuff out.
Very much so. And a lot of the time, the men often put together in their super fund this bit of paper that says, pay this person, pay that. They've got married, they've got kids, and they forgot to change it. So if anything happens, it is a real mess.
So this, of course, will have implications into things like, well, certainly the amount of cash revolving around here, ownership of different assets.
Very much so.
Tax implications?
Yep. I mean, how many people don't know that your house generally doesn't form part of your estate?
Right.
Your super doesn't generally form part of your estate, and insurances don't, unless you make it so. If that's the case, then it can end up being a real mess.
So again, all these little loose pieces that could potentially mean money's left on the table, not assigned to the right spot. One other quick point here is about, I'm sure you've seen before families where, that the family isn't always the Brady Bunch, let's say, or this happy family, and so consequently people want things to go to certain spots and other people to miss out on different things like that. Now that's really estate planning, isn't it?
It definitely is. If you don't have an estate plan and all the documents that go with it, it's not just a will, there's other things as well, then it becomes increasingly difficult, and it sets up the situation where someone can challenge these sorts of things, and you don't want that.
Now, challenge means cost.
It does, and it's the estate that pays for it generally, which means there's less money to go around where it should be going in the first place.
Right, so the people you wanted to help in your passing are going to get either no help or less help without a great estate. That's
right, and increasingly people are having investment properties, or they may own shares and stuff like that. Unless that's taken into account, where does it go?
So the solution here, Norman, what is the solution?
Yeah, it's basically you need to talk to a lawyer or someone like us that can help you put together the strategy, and then you get the right documents in place. For example, there's 2 attorneys that people most need. So if you medically something happened, you need someone to look after you. Same as with all the financial and legal stuff, you need someone to look after you. They are as important as your will.
Yeah, okay. So this is a very, very big subject. We just got time to touch on the very, very tip of the iceberg here. But if you want to know more about it, please click on the link below to Norman's website. You'll find out a lot more information about it there. Or certainly click the button below and you can get straight into talking to Norman as well. So if you've got any questions about wills and estate planning, Norman is your man. Thanks, Norman.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Don't die just yet. Get yourself a will. Bye-bye.